Lord, just give me the words to say to this man. I ask for favor, Lord, in all the things. I ask for favor on John. I ask for favor on my dad and my family. I ask for favor on John's family, and his lady that he's been seeing, and direction on things, and his daughter, and all these. Lord, I ask for forgiveness for stupidity. And I ask for your blessing on the things that are done, Lord Jesus. And apologize for taking anything for granted. Okay. Let's try this. Yeah, hi David. Thank you for calling me back. Sorry I missed your call this morning. I'm heading back there. Hopefully this week. We're hoping to start on. It looks like Lisa's thinking we can start putting the thing back together down beneath. So I'm kind of happy about that. How are you doing?
Well, my place is almost done. There's a piece of trim that they have to come fix, and then it should be done.
Yeah. It's Matt seems like he's been pretty nice. He's a guy that's been working on it. David, can you kind of tell me? So what? This was a water heater that you were putting in.
Well, it really doesn't have anything to do with the water heater. It has to do with the water pressure.
I see.
The water pressure was out of control, which is something I didn't know. And the hot water heater was making noises, the old one, and I thought it was because it was old, because it was old. And that's why I replaced it. But the noises coming from it were actually from high water pressure, and I mean catastrophically high. Normal high is about 60, but State Farm said 45 to 50, but I've read 60 is the max for normal, and I registered 140. The plumber checked it. Then the water company came, because the business office told me it was probably the water company's problem. So the water company came out and checked it. At the time he was there, he registered 116, and what's the guy's name for maintenance? Is it John? From Point Royale. He was there testing water pressure at my place at the same time.
Yeah. So was this after?
He tested 116.
So was this afterwards? So was this after the flooding? They tested it?
Yes.
Okay. Did the plumber put the water? So there was a plumber that put a water heater in?
Did the plumber put the water heater in?
Yeah, there was a plumber that put it in, you said?
He came in and did it afterwards, after it all blew apart.
Oh, okay. So you put it in the first time, and then the plumber put one in later.
Right.
Okay, so
well,
you.
He didn't put he didn't put a new one in. He just redid everything in copper.
So did you do it in copper?
City Plumbing.
What was okay? So you put okay? Did he change the water pressure to put it back in?
Oh no, this was found later. I told him, but from the very beginning, I had suspicions that the water pressure was high, because State Farm, when they called me, they asked me, "What do you think caused this?" I said, "Well, high water pressure, because of the way it blew apart, and the amount of water that came into the place.
So, but you put,
short period of time.
but did you have the plumber put the water heater in the first time, David? When it blew up?
No.
You did it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you put it in, and the water blew at the water heater where you put it in.
Yes.
Well, David, I don't, because I got a thing from State Farm stating that it was the fittings that you put on that blew.
Well, yes, that's what blew, but it wasn't the job that was a mistake. It was the high water pressure.
Well, did they install the water heater? So the plumber that you had come out that you didn't use, he did come in and he put the water heater in properly afterwards.
Well, not properly. He just did it a different way.
Did they change the water pressure for him to?
Properly as well.
Did they change the water pressure for him to put it in?
No.
Okay.
It was done afterwards because I kept saying there's something wrong here, because the other part of the story, Trey, is that I got in the shower a few days later, and when I turned the water on, it blew the spigot off of my tub. You know, the part where the water comes out of the wall? It blew that off. And that's when I knew for sure that this water pressure was out of control.
So did you guys, okay, so after you guys put the water heater in, David, did you stay there and make, because the place was flooded downstairs.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa,
at least an hour.
well, Lisa said, well, were the pipes glued?
Yes. Yes.
And the glue came off. Okay, so Lisa says y'all took off and went maybe to Springfield or something right after. It looked fine. You said.
Well, we went to Branson.
Okay. But you left and you came back and it was totally.
Yes, I was happy. It all looked great. It all went very well. It's not our first rodeo, and we were satisfied.
David, my whole place underneath I've got like old photos of my family that are like they're gone. I know you were satisfied, but I mean, my home's gone, David. And State Farm has told me that they're not going to pay. Like, so today. Okay, so far I've paid $20,000 and I'm paying $30,000 today, and that's just in repairs, and then I've got pretty much like all sorts of family stuff, like old books. The computers have been water corroded.
I know it's awful. It really is.
Yeah. Well, it's.
But the condo association is responsible for maintaining the PRV, pressure regulation valve, and that's down below the bottom of all the condos. You have one, I have one.
There's no problem with the pressure in my unit, David, or the pastors next door.
You are on a separate one.
Well, that's another issue, David. I mean, David, if I'm on a separate, I don't know much about it. I just know I've talked to the pastors next door and Dan, who has the rental next, that none of them have a water pressure issue. But even if they did, they would call a plumber. Yeah.
Trey, listen to me.
Yeah.
Each condo has its own PRV.
Well, but you still didn't use a plumber to put in the stuff.
And that's the responsible part of the issue.
David, you still didn't use a plumber to put in the thing, I don't know what you do if you feel like the water's coming out of the shower too heavy, David, but in the process of this, you left to go to, so right after you mended some pipes with glue, the glue bus on the thing, it pretty much destroyed everything that I have underneath. And now your insurance company tells me that they're not covering you for a red cent.
And that's because the condo association insurance covers what the condo association is responsible for. And they are responsible for the PRV.
Well, David, I'm not sure about that. If you put in a heater and a few minutes later it busts and it floods everything underneath, and you took off to Branson because everything looked good and you were proud of your job, as you said. Well, underneath, my life was devastated, David.
Even complimented and said, you guys did a really good job.
David, if you did a really good job, why is everything I own destroyed?
Well, Trey, it's the water pressure.
The water pressure in your unit and not anybody else's. That would have been your responsibility to fix properly.
No, the condo association. That's why State Farm bowed out.
Okay, but this happened a few minutes after you'd installed the water heater, which burst at the water heater.
It was going to blow no matter what, because the pressure's been high, apparently, for a while.
But it didn't blow until the moment right after you put in a water heater and had a plumber come out, which you should have had the plumber fix it when he came out the first time. So you're trying to save a few bucks to put it in with your brother-in-law. You told me on the phone just now nobody's changed the water pressure, but you had the plumber come back out. He redid it a different, in quotes, way than you did it, David, a way that it didn't bust and just re-destroy everything downstairs.
Well,
and the place where it bust is at the
pipes will fail with that.
If you put it on improperly, that's correct, David. They will. Look, all we know for a fact is that you put it on. You did not use a licensed plumber. You did it yourself. Then you took off, and in the course of because everything looked fine, and then everything underneath of you everything I own is ruined. That's all we know for an absolute fact.
And the insurance company is supposed to
refuses to cover you.
Unfortunately, apparently you don't have any insurance of your own.
So you think I should use my insurance, David? So you caused the problem, but you believe I've been paying out of pocket. You're right. I've been paying out of pocket for this. You're absolutely right. And my income, I've lost income. So I've been paying for all my. You're absolutely right. Your insurance company has not paid for anything. So you think this is my insurance's fault?
Well.
Because they put the water heater in.
Deductible.
Do I have a reasonable expectation, David, to come back to my home and it not be flooded? Do you think I have that reasonable? Do you think I have a reasonable expectation, David, to come home from working and find that all of my things are not destroyed by the neighbor upstairs?
Well, I assume the hazards of living in a multi-family unit.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is okay. So do you feel it was okay for you to destroy all of my things?
Trey, be reasonable.
Be reasonable. My whole life, all of my work stuff, data materials, trips I took to Egypt and Israel, by you not hiring a licensed plumber, David. What is unreasonable about any of that? Then you took off. You didn't even sit there. You didn't even sit there and watch the thing you put together. It was flooded. You talk about John from maintenance. John from maintenance discovered what they claim was 3 to 6 inches of water in my home. Don't tell me you were only gone for 30 minutes, David. You were gone. I don't know how you put that. Lisa says you glued pipes together and took off a few minutes afterwards, which is probably true because you probably turned the water right back on. I don't know. Nobody knows what you did. But by your own story, you put in a water heater without the plumber. Plumber came back and fixed it. It hadn't burst again, has it, David?
Trey, I will refer you to your insurance company. That's all I can do.
Thank you very much, David.
All right.
We got him, didn't we? Huh?
Yeah.
We did?